What? Oh shit. Hey, everybody know Team Crawford. Y'all know I get active. Let's go.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So it's starting to appear as if PBC has a serious grudge with Terence Crawford. Now, and I thought when Terence Crawford left Top Rank, he would go right over to PBC and they would welcome him with open arms. That's not what happened at all. Apparently, Terence Crawford, he decided to remain being a free agent. He beats Errol Spence in the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, the biggest fight of the century. And then PBC, who I didn't even know gave out awards, they gave Canelo Alvarez the Fighter of the Year award over Terence Crawford. Even Errol Spence disagreed with that. Errol Spence, he said Terence Crawford clearly deserved Fighter of the Year. He beat me, and I was pound for pound number 1 or number 2. It was so weird that PBC gave Canelo Alvarez the Fighter of the Year award because nobody had gave Canelo Alvarez the Fighter of the Year award, including old media. In 2023, Canelo Alvarez, he beat John Ryder and Jermell Charlo. Now, Errol Spence is still in Terence Crawford's opponent. Terence Crawford, he was going to fight the winner of Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora because he was going to enforce his mandatory status as the WBO mandatory. We had already heard reports that the next fight was going to be the winner of that fight against Terence Crawford. But then out of nowhere, Tim Tszyu's manager came out and he said, we would prefer, or he said, we wouldn't mind fighting Errol Spence first. Instead of fighting Terence Crawford, we wouldn't mind vacating the belt to avoid Terence Crawford and fighting Errol Spence. And then Tim Tszyu, he did an interview, and he pretty much corroborated everything that his manager said. Now, when we interviewed Tim Tszyu, he wouldn't give a straight answer. He was on some George Kambosos type stuff. Remember when George Kambosos, when he was telling people that he was going to either fight Devin Haney or Lomachenko next, but he was always planning on fighting Lomachenko all along until Lomachenko pulled out of the fight? Well, when we kept asking him who he wants to fight next, he kept saying, whatever fight makes the most sense. And then after Tim Tszyu loses to Fundora, Errol Spence, he hops in the ring to start promoting a fight between Errol Spence and Fundora. That was already staged, which means Tim Tszyu had never planned on fighting Crawford next. The plan was to fight Errol Spence all along. Now, I don't know exactly what the grudge is over when it comes to Terence Crawford and PBC. I don't know if it's Terence Crawford just wants to be a free agent and he wants to bounce around from network to network. But Canelo Alvarez, he does the same thing, and PBC, they love Canelo Alvarez. I don't know if it's Terence Crawford just wants to be a free agent and he wants to bounce around from network to network. But Canelo Alvarez, he does the same thing, and PBC, they love Canelo Alvarez. Or could it be the fact that Terence Crawford, he was so loyal to Top Rank when maybe PBC felt that he should have been with PBC all along from the beginning? I really don't know exactly what it is, but there is definitely some tension there. Now, I know some of you guys will say, oh, they're mad because Terence Crawford, he came over there and beat their fighter Errol Spence. But Canelo Alvarez has come over there and he's beat PBC fighters. And once again, they love Canelo. So it's not really adding up. But whatever the reason is, Errol Spence is definitely going to get the Sebastian Fundora fight before Terence Crawford gets it. Even Sebastian Fundora's own promoter, they're already talking about they prefer to fight Errol Spence first. And they're even admitting that they see Errol Spence as an easier fight. I'm going to tell you something else, man. That win that Terence Crawford got over Errol Spence, it's got all of these boxers completely shook. Because no one does that to Errol Spence. This man, Terence Crawford, he beat Errol Spence like he was just a sparring partner, like he was just playing with him. It turned out to be one of Terence Crawford's easiest fights of his career. And even though we hear all these excuses, rehydration and et cetera, and, he was drained at the weight, deep down, none of these boxers believe that. Because if they did, they would all be in line to fight Terence Crawford. And we're talking about fighters at higher weight classes that are naturally bigger than Terence Crawford, including Canelo Alvarez. So it looks like Sebastian Fundora, he's going to go ahead and vacate his WBO belt, and then Terence Crawford is going to fight for the vacant belt. But because of the way Tim Tszyu lost to Sebastian Fundora, I think it definitely warrants a fight with Terence Crawford. because it's no doubt about it, that cut to Tim Tszyu's head, it definitely changed the complexion of the fight. If it wasn't for that cut, Tim Tszyu most likely would have won the fight. The round before Tim Tszyu got cut, he literally hit Sebastian Fundora with 8 right hands in a row that completely busted his nose and mouth. But it was just a freak accident. It wasn't Sebastian Fundora's fault, and a win is a win at the end of the day. But that's still a good fight. Terence Crawford versus Tim Tszyu is still a good fight. Terence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz is still a good fight. So we'll see how things play out. And it'll still be interesting to see Errol Spence come back and fight against Sebastian as well. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Not to overlook this fight. But Crawford activated his mandatory to fight you next, according to the WBO.
Yeah.
How excited are you for that? And what's your message to Crawford if he's listening?
Yeah, that's great, man. You know, like that's an opportunity to become a great for sure. You know, this is the first opportunity to do things that no one else does, to save the show, to still start this historic card, and once the opportunity arises for Crawford, then that's going to be a war.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to LODkey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.